Hello and welcome to Two Girls in a Pod. I'm Sharon.
I'm Christy.
Happy to have everybody back with us this week. We're always happy to be here. We always talk about our coffee time. Our coffee time is kind of our creative time and our time that we kind of throw different ideas back and forth at each other.
Have really good conversation usually.
Yeah. And, one of the things we were talking about is this thing of letting go.
Yeah.
You talked to me about that. I remembered, because I'm part of the Wisdom Map, and they had asked that question of, how do you let go of something? I don't know if it's let go and get past, or just how do you let go? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's really important for people to recognize that, to be able to let go. And exactly what does that mean? Yeah, it's not necessarily negating that something happened and, acting like it didn't happen. It's not that. It's being at peace with where you're at with it.
Well, and I think sometimes we hold on to things, whether it's a thought, an emotion, a relationship, a job. I don't care what it is, an idea. And sometimes it's even our ideas that keep us holding on to things, and kind of prevent us from letting go. And I think, to me, the hardest things that we do is we let go of an idea or a relationship. Because our ideas, to me, we get so enamored with them, or like they're somehow interwoven with us. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of times we think we know best. And so there's, we're trying to get our point across and make somebody else believe in it. And sometimes you just have to let go of it.
And I think, when we come to the place and the realization that we control absolutely no one.
And that's really hard to accept, especially, I think, for people that you care about, because you also want to make things better. You want to make things easier, things like that for people. And a lot of times we try to circumvent the outcome of some of those choices.
I think all of us have had that, either us doing it or others doing it or seeing others do it, where they hold on to something that is detrimental to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's an ideology, like I said, this idea of what something is. We often talk on our podcast about the importance of silencing all those thoughts, those whispers, those sounds that we hear that do keep us kind of stuck,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there's fear in letting it go, or if we feel like if we let it go, then somehow we haven't done our best. Or it's an interesting thing to me, because oftentimes as a therapist, what I'm seeing is a lot of the stuff that people won't let go of. It keeps me busy.
But I think that that's a lot of times why people have so much anxiety, is because really, it comes down to trying to control a situation that you don't have any control in. It's about other people's choices and things like that. And that's why you have to come to that place and understand that everybody is on their own path and they have to make their own decisions. And as much as we would like to prevent them from having to face the consequence of some of those decisions, there's nothing that we can do to prevent that. That is a part of the life journey. That is a part of the experiences that people have to educate themselves. And you can tell somebody till you're blue in the face, but until you realize that it's their decision, you don't have that power and control. And it gives you a lot of angst when you try.
Well, I think too, when you try to use old ideas in your present situation, because we hold on to those.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell my clients, and we talk about this, we're not the same person we were a year ago, a month ago, an hour ago,
Mm-hmm.
but yet we try to use the same things. And I get it. What we're taught, we talked a little bit about that on Pivotal Moments, where some of the stuff that we're taught is so valuable to us.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's not. But we might think, because my parent taught me this, then I have to keep doing it because, that kind of, whatever that is,
right?
Whatever that ideology is around it. And I always tell people, what worked for you in the past does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you in this present moment, but it's letting it go.
Yeah.
Whether it's the thing of who I used to be able to run. Now I can't run. I used to have money. I don't have money. I grew up without money and I'm afraid I'm not going to have money. I didn't have good relationships. I'm not going to, it's all of this stuff.
Mhm.
I think it's about getting to a place where people are ready to truly live their life for themselves.
Yes.
And I was having a conversation with my client and I told him, I said, you have to start doing things for you. You have to take care of you. And I hear this often, and it's generational thing too. Well, doesn't that make me selfish? Aren't I supposed? I said, we have been taught this. I says, but I am going to tell you what I tell everybody. You cannot feed from an empty plate.
Mhm.
And we continue to do this.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times that, hanging on to things, it keeps us, like you said, stuck. And it can be from anything. It can be hanging on to the fact that that guy cut me off when I was turning and that kind of thing. You get enraged, it's only to your detriment. Here, you're probably shooting your blood pressure up through the roof. And not only that, you're probably not as vigilant as you should be to what's going on around you because you're so focused on what that person did to you,
And you'll
and
keep feeding it and holding on and you won't let it go.
yeah. And if you just let it go and realize that person, who knows what's going on with them, why they're doing that. And that's just on that level. I mean, there are so many other examples. This is even more personal or things that we feel like are even more of an impact.
You're right. That's kind of on such a low level when we talk about those things about letting go. Letting go, sometimes we'll have relationships with people and we'll sit there and say, oh my God, I've had this. And I hear this, but we've been friends for 7 years. And I have one that's really, they've been friends for say 13 years, whatever.
Mhm.
And in this relationship, I'm there thinking, you're in my office. And part of the reason you're in my office is, believe it or not, because of this relationship. There's a toxicity to it, but oftentimes they can't see, well, but it's 13 years. And that one time that she was nice to me, okay, yeah, but what is that fear of letting go? It's a fear of hurting somebody's feelings. It's a fear of, they're going to be mad at all this other stuff. Or what happens if I let go of them and then I don't have a friend, or I don't even know that the list goes on and on and on for this.
Mhm. And maybe because of even other influences, I know that there's so many opinions out there about staying in a relationship no matter, what's going on. But I feel like too, you have to look at, is that person interested in personal growth too? And, if you guys are on the same path, or can you be, try some things. But realizing that, you don't have control over that other person's choices and their feelings or perspective. And so sometimes you do have to let go.
And I feel like sometimes we have to let go in order to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's that growth. It's an unknown. It's like, what if it's not what I want it to be? What if it's a mistake? I tell people, you know what? The cool thing is we have the ability to undo, change our life whenever we want.
Mm-hmm.
How we view the world, we can change that. All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason we don't is because we will get stuck in that thing, and we will hold on to what's familiar. We will hold on to what is comfortable for us.
Get stuck in a pattern.
We get very complacent,
Mm-hmm.
and then we feel that. And sometimes we don't even know why we're feeling it until we sit back and we evaluate it and we say, what am I holding on to that's not allowing me that growth?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it is relationships. Sometimes it's a job. Sometimes it's, and, I always tell people, people say, well, it used to be there was so much more loyalty to companies,
Mm-hmm.
But that was because there was a relationship with the employee and the employer.
Mm-hmm.
So that it was very different. So when we look historically, those things are very different. Now, a lot of people, when I talk to them, we've talked with many people and they'll say, yeah, I'm just a commodity. I'm just, you use me and then you get rid of me.
Yeah. I think that's been a big issue in the last few years too. People are really tired of being
Not being
overworked or
appreciated.
stressed out. Yeah, not being appreciated.
And you know what I think it is it's that thing of not feeling valued.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people think it's money and it's this, and sometimes it's not that. It's, for goodness sake, acknowledge that I went above and beyond. Acknowledge me. And people aren't doing that. And so when you're going into these companies, there's not that same thing. So then companies get, well, geez, they're just quitting like on a dime. Well, you're not offering them the same thing. There's not this relationship any longer within a lot, and not all companies. That's a generalized statement, but a lot of them, and that's what people are feeling. So they're letting go really quickly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they also are letting go, and they're not understanding. Sometimes I think their part in the relationship building either.
Mhm.
It's a two-way street kind of thing.
Mhm.
So sometimes we let go too quickly, and that's not necessarily the best either. It's like, okay, this didn't work, I'm going to go. Yeah. And so if we start seeing that pattern, though, there's something else that's going on there. That's something totally different. But when we're talking about those things of letting go, and I think it is hard when, especially if it's somebody that you love,
Yeah.
and you see them doing the same behaviors over and over and over again that are so harmful to themselves, and that you continue to sit there and fight. It's like that salmon swimming upstream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you want them to care as much as you do. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes their priorities are completely different. And, whether it be about decisions about their health, or whatever it is. I think we see it a lot of times with parents, that they're kids and they make crazy decisions and things like that. And I think a lot of times you see parents trying to, like I say, circumvent the consequence of things and prevent them from, seeing the harsh truth of stuff. It's really more to their detriment if they don't understand the consequence part.
Well, I think that's really a huge thing, is I think sometimes parents don't let go of the fact that, whether it's, I want my kid to have a good education. They got to get good grades, to my kid has to be in sports and has to be the best. My kid, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. And I get it, in their head, this is what's going to help their child to be successful in life.
Uh-huh.
But I also tell parents, we no more control a 2-year-old than we control a 20-year-old or a 90-year-old. We get this idea that we do control them because when they're compliant with something, they're only compliant by choice.
Yeah.
It's not because we have some magical thing that says, you're going to do this, and, they do it. No, they are doing it because lesser to evil, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we are not controlling people. We're not controlling that 2-year-old.
Right.
But what happens is we get into power struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And we get into power struggles, and I understand why, because a lot of times as a parent, you really do know better because you have life experience. Guess what? They don't care.
Yeah.
In their little head or their teenage years, whatever it is. I know. You'll be telling me nothing. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You're just talking and I'm not listening. Parents will push and push and push, and then it leads to conflict sometimes.
Yeah.
And I tell parents, take a step back. If your kid succeeds in school, that's their success. If they fail in school, that is theirs.
Yes.
It is not yours. I said, you don't get to go take the test for them, nor do you get the bad grade on it. I said, that's theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And when you step away and you have to understand that they're accountable for that, when you let it go.
Yeah.
It's amazing the success we see in these relationships.
Yeah, I think it's really a struggle for people because they don't want to see people that they love go through hard times based on, decisions that they've made in that. But that's also what teaches us, about life and resilience and what it takes to be not is not successful is not the
productive
word. Yeah. Like a productive and happy individual with the decisions that you make, and understanding the consequences of things.
And I think the thing is that we don't let go of the old thought processes of It's about raising people to make money, to do this, to do that. We're not raising them to be happy, to let go of those old ideas. And not that they're not good, it's a balance. We get so caught up in one piece of it, I think. But I think there's a balance in it. How do you teach how we learn? And when I say we, it's everybody. This is a life lesson. This is a life journey. We still make bad choices. And we're like, oh man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Last week, I knew it was a bad choice. It makes it so much. But then we hold on to it and we do these things. And when you go back and you say, well, why did I make that decision? I thought I had let that go. But I think it's because it's a process. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that even when it's around people that we love and we keep pushing, and then we don't realize till later the amount of energy that we expended on trying to get somebody to change or to do the right thing. Because sometimes maybe that's the right thing for them, even though it's detrimental, but maybe in their head,
Mm-hmm.
I'm living my life and I'm happy or whatever it is. I don't know. But at the end of the day, we don't get to live anybody else's life. Think about how much it takes just to live your own, you know what I mean? And if we
Right.
invested that same amount of money, not money, but that same amount of time
Mm-hmm.
in ourselves that we are in trying to change other people or holding on to those things that we should be letting go of, think how much energy a person would have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just crazy.
I think that a lot of times, we talk about how much anxiety is up these days. And I think a lot of people feel completely drained. They don't have the energy in that. And I think that it is because our mind is often so fixated on all these things that we don't control.
Mhm. If we don't control it, we should be letting it go.
Exactly.
But we still have this idea that we can control something outside of our control. And then we don't control the stuff that we can't, which is my thought, my feeling, and how I respond and react to a situation
Mm-hmm.
will feel out of control.
Yeah.
But once I acknowledge that that's what I have control over, I can let go of some other things. And I think that the thing is that it's something that we always will face in a way, because there'll always be something that comes in our life that may be very positive at the first, at the beginning. And then okay, well, that's positive. Well, I had those 2 years. It was really great. So what if the last 5 years have been crap? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And not to negate the 2 years that were positive. I tell people, walk away from everything. If you're going to let go of something, walk away with the lesson learned, a positive lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Not, oh, I ain't gonna do that shit again. No, that's not it. It's, what did you learn? You as a person, as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
what did you learn
Yeah.
that is positive, that's going to enhance your life and make your life better?
And that has to be our focus, because a lot of times I feel like we think we know best for somebody else. And maybe you do have a better solution, but you cannot make somebody do whatever it is.
And you always tell my clients, Christy and I are not any different. We will have little stupid crap. We did
Mhm.
right before the podcast,
Mhm.
right before the podcast about our camera, just so y'all know, I can break with it.
Every time about the camera angle, man.
It's not just the camera angle, it's our oops, sorry about that. It's our sound was best. But here we are doing this, but we had to let it go. Now, I think in the past where it's a work in progress. And I tell people, we don't have this perfect relationship by any means. We have to learn to let shit go too.
Yeah. Yeah. It happens on a daily. You can have little spats with somebody. And if you hang on to that, what does it do to the rest of your day?
I swear when I do couples counseling, it cracks me up. They will freaking go back and it becomes tit for tat. Well, remember last Tuesday you did, oh, well, last Thursday you did this. And then you're feeding that and I'm always like, could we let it go and just be in the present moment? That's what we're dealing with, is the present moment. What are you going to do differently? We do the same thing, but then we will go sometimes back and talk about it and say, why did we even do it for that long? We're a little bit different on that but way different for you now, but when we first even got together, she could stay mad. And whatever it is, once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. And I'm off to the next thing. And she's, well, oh, why aren't you still mad about this?
Mhm.
I don't know. I forgot what I was mad about.
Yeah, I could hang on to things for a while. I used to, but I
But you
feel
learn
like
to let it go.
I feel like I've gotten way better
Oh,
about that.
absolutely. And I get it. And because you were holding on to your past and how you dealt with things in your past.
Mhm.
And we would talk about that, but yeah, it's not that. But why do I still do it? But so at the base of everything, it's how do we have those conversations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do we talk about those things
Mhm.
and do it in a way that we're not being hateful or rude or anything? It's really about what can I do better?
Mhm.
You know, once again, we're no different.
Mhm.
We just have more years doing this, but it's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want the people listening to feel like we don't have shit. Because everybody has shit.
Yeah. And when we always talk about it being a daily practice, it truly is because, like you said, I feel like that we've come a long way, but even in the beginning, you would come up against, I know I was defensive a lot of the times.
Just a little bit.
And it is, people will get in, you're stuck in that, you're rooted in this idea or whatever, that you're right about something or that, and become defensive when somebody says something, not understanding because you're not hearing truly. So, I mean, that makes it hard to let go.
Once again, we don't even know that those things that we learned, we don't understand that we don't have to use the same things in different relationships. But what happens is once I learn it, well, that looks pretty good. You can see that with kids. We're no different than children. I'm telling you right now. Little kids, if it works here in this arena, well, I'm going to use it in this arena. Well, no, it doesn't work in that arena,
And it's not even unconscious thought, really.
No, no,
It's
absolutely.
just out of habit, that's the way you deal,
Mhm. Absolutely. You were talking about, sometimes where we grow up and those kind of things, you know what I mean? And you talked about the South, we always tease, and you would say it, or even the church, you would have the potlucks and it
You
was,
make it sound like it came from the South.
no, I didn't. No, I said when we were talking about the South, I know better than to say, no, she is not from the South. But, you would go back to the South because that's where your family's from. And so a lot of the stuff is around, they have good food, y'all, but it's food that you probably shouldn't eat
Yeah,
sometimes.
deep fried and all that stuff.
That's why I got so much flavor. No, but we'll get into that thing of, well, that's just the way we do it.
Mhm.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to let go of that idea. If I've always done it, well, that's just the way we do it. And how many times, and I mean, I've been guilty of saying stuff like that too.
Mhm.
Well, that's just the way I've always done it.
Or don't even, I mean, they don't even say that, say, that's just how I am. And when you say that about yourself, I feel like that you put yourself in a box
Mhm.
and feel like you cannot change. And that's completely not true.
I 100% agree with that. We make those statements and don't even realize it, that keeps us stuck and it keeps us from letting go of things.
Yeah. In your mind, it's reaffirming that, well, this is just how I am.
This how I've always done it.
Yeah.
And it's okay. But the thing is that part of, I think, the evolution of who we are as human beings is that we evolve by doing something different. We do not evolve if we continue to do the same thing over and over and hold on to that whatever those things are.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that in my life, I have had to learn to let go of things, and sometimes it's been extremely painful for me.
Mhm.
And sitting there, do I really want to deal with the pain of this, or would I rather just keep the status quo? And that's what it is. Sometimes the status quo isn't really that bad, but it really is because you're not moved. There's no movement with it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
There's no room for growth if you continue to reaffirm over and over again that you are, basically stuck in that mindset.
And I think the other thing is when we don't let go of some stuff, we don't realize letting go of some of that stuff actually has the potential to make things better in whatever you're doing now. And we have found that some stuff you've let go of, some stuff I've let go of. And not only has it helped us as individuals, but it really has helped us in our relationship.
Definitely.
But still wasn't easy. It was like, man, do I really want to do that?
Mhm.
It's not that we have to let go of everything. And I always tell people, you let go of those things that are detrimental to you, that are toxicity.
Yeah, because of the impact that it's having on you. I think that, letting go of something, we talk about, a lot of people say about forgive and forget or whatever like that. You learn through those processes, and maybe you learn something about that individual or whatever it is, and you still take that lesson learned, and it doesn't mean that you act like nothing happened. You just learn from it and learn to let go, not be so tied to the emotion of that it prevents you from being a better person or being free of what's holding you back because of it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you have to let go in order to be able to free your mind of it.
Well, and I think sometimes too, realizing then and I'll use people, is sometimes when we let go of relationships, we have to accept that sometimes we're the detriment to them too,
Mhm.
that we're holding somebody back, that we're not believing in them or trusting that they can navigate the world without me.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what's hard is when we don't think we're needed or we don't think we're valuable or whatever. We get stuck in that thing of, or if they're without me, they're going to be happier. There's selfishness that, but not on a conscious level. I'm not saying they're saying people do this, but I think it's once again, it's those ideas and things that we hold on to. And so when we're able to sit there and say, would this person, if I care about this person, am I truly willing to walk away from it so they can be the best version of who they are? Am I willing to let it go?
Yeah. And I think that's really difficult
Oh,
for a lot
absolutely.
of people because yeah, that is about you and what your contribution is.
And sometimes we can love people so much that we don't even realize maybe that we're suffocating them or that we think that we're doing what's best for them and we're keeping them as much in that box as we're staying in a box and nobody's growing. Everybody is just surviving or doing the status quo. And sometimes that's a very difficult thing to come to the realization of that if I don't let go, you don't get growth.
Mhm.
And we have to be willing to do that if it's somebody that we love. And I think on any level, our thing should be about people being the best version of who they can be,
Mhm.
and I think that sometimes maybe it's ego. I'm just at a place in my life where I can sit back and I can do that. And I can understand that sometimes in relationships where I should have walked away, I didn't walk away. And the growth of finally walking away or whatever, I think is so much a better thing because I think that you just get to that place where you get to be the person you were meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one of the places that I've experienced this and had to let go, we just did the episode not that long ago, Tough Decisions, which was about end of life care for my mom. And there's a lot of letting go you have to do through that process.
Absolutely.
I mean, you want to be, I guess it's selfish. You want to be selfish and do what you can to keep that person here, but that's not always the best choice. It's not always the best choice for them.
And I thought it was so interesting because we had this conversation with your mom, we went and spent time with her, and when she went into hospice, and her response was golden because she goes, "Oh, now I can have whatever I want. Can I have a can I have a Hershey's bar? Hershey bar. So we got her Hershey bar,
Yeah.
then she wanted an apple, then she wanted her Pepsi. And there was a freedom in it. And I think in a weird way that actually made me feel better. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Not feel better that it's the end, but that
Right.
there was a sense of I don't have to do it anymore. And
Mhm.
she has surprised everybody by she's still in there. It's not as good this week at all, so
Yeah.
don't know what that'll bring, but you're right. It's letting go of things and it's being able to say, and I think in letting go, sometimes we've done the best that we could in all of those situations and walking away from it and understanding whatever that relationship is. In this case, when it's such a final thing because death is our finality, and to be able to let go of whatever those ideas or thoughts because they don't really matter anymore,
Mhm. Because there was a point, coming up to this that we were like, okay, this and this and this can be done, and we can do this, and we can take you here, and this doctor can work with you. And, and she was already at that point just done with
looking at
all.
us like, please just shut the hell up.
Yeah. She's
I'm
like,
not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But no, you don't understand.
yeah.
It was difficult.
Mhm.
But we had to really, and I say we because I was as pushy as you are when it comes to, because of course you want your mom around, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But finally getting to that place of letting that go, realizing it's her journey and not ours. And
Yeah.
so letting go is not, sometimes can be very, very difficult. And sometimes it can be very, very easy.
Mhm.
But finding out when we have to let go of those things that are no longer serving us, and it's not a negative.
No.
People come in and out of our lives all of the time and they serve that purpose. We serve that purpose in their lives.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're not meant to be there forever,
Yeah.
but that's okay. As a therapist, you really learn that.
Yeah.
I get to be on little parts of this journey of these people, but I don't get to be on the whole journey and I'm not supposed to be.
Mhm.
I just played this role for this time period. So that has been very helpful for me in my life to understand that it's transient in a way
The people that you need show up
when you
when
need
you
them,
need them.
and then they walk away when you're done with them.
Yeah. Another thing about letting go is it's not even always about people. Sometimes it's letting go of habits that no longer serve you.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe before that was a great coping mechanism, but now it's not, it's not serving you the same. So you
Mhm.
have to let go of those things.
And once again, not viewing the letting go as a negative, I think is the biggest thing, but viewing it as an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Your individual growth, if it's a relationship, their growth. If it's you letting go of ideas or habits or whatever it is, that becomes about your growth.
And it becomes about you being more content in your life because you cannot have peace if you are constantly trying to figure out everything for everybody else and tell them how they should do things and then them not doing it and you getting all worked up about it.
Exactly. We have to always remember, like we say, you cannot feed from an empty plate.
Yeah.
So, maybe hopefully you will sit back and reflect and look at some of those things that maybe you feel you've been struggling with to let go, or, and maybe this will help you to do that, reevaluate things and help a little bit on that journey that we're all on. And, some things, like I said, you got to let that shit go. But hopefully it resonates with you. That's what we're always hopeful for, is that it resonates. And, we always appreciate all of our listeners, always.
Yes.
And once again, you can find us on.
Yeah. So if you're catching us on Adventures of Two Girls in a Pod on YouTube, thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
joining us.
And
Please subscribe and follow. Also, we are on
Facebook,
Instagram.
Girls in a
Yeah, Two Girls in a Pod Life's Journey. And you can also go to our website, which is twogirlsinapod.com, and you can subscribe there. And every time we release a new episode, you'll get an email notification.
Once again, we appreciate it. Follow, subscribe, and we are on all podcasting things.
Wherever you get your podcast, you
we
can
are
find us.
there. So,
And please interact with us. We've got, and you can reach out through any of those platforms to send a message if there are certain topics that you would like to know more about too.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, talk to us. Y'all can tell we like talking, right? Yeah, share your ideas with us. We so look forward to it, okay? And we so appreciate y'all. And we will be back. So y'all have a great week, okay?
Bye.
Bye.